Hello everyone and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In a jaw-dropping twist that no Sister Wives fan saw coming but many have long suspected was brewing beneath the surface of this crumbling plural empire, the Brown family financial storm has finally exploded in a legal thunderclap so loud it could be heard from Flagstaff to the depths of reality TV history. As a judge officially handed down a blistering ruling ordering Kody Brown and Robyn Brown to pay back a staggering $4.5 million they allegedly diverted from the family estate over the years. A ruling so explosive that even longtime viewers who thought they were numb to the chaos of Kodyland found themselves gasping, clutching their pearls, and rewatching the courtroom footage like it was a season finale cliffhanger with everything on the line. Because make no mistake, this is not just a ruling. This is a reckoning, a public accounting for years of whispered accusations, quiet suspicions, financial dodging, tense family meetings, emotional breakdowns, and the ever-deepening sense that something dark and unspoken had been hiding under the veneer of family unity. While Kody and Robyn insisted everything was fine, everything was fair, and the wives who raised questions were simply ungrateful or struggling with loyalty. From the moment this show began, fans watched Kody spread his time, his attention, and most critically his financial resources across his four wives. But everything shifted the second Robyn entered the family, bringing not only her kids, her mysterious debts, and her tear-filled devotion to Kody, but an emotional crown that placed her on a pedestal above Mary, Janelle, and Christine. And now, according to the bombshell court findings that have sent shockwaves through the Brown universe, she may have also brought a long-term plan that redirected millions from the plural family pot straight into her and Kody's private future, while everyone else was left holding piles of broken dreams and foreclosure notices. The ruling, delivered by a visibly stern judge who made it clear that financial manipulation and fiduciary exploitation within a shared family structure cannot be ignored, orders Kody and Robyn to repay every cent of the alleged $4.5 million siphoned into accounts that were disguised as shared expenses, emergency family funds, and property development investments, but now appear, based on evidentiary testimony and documentation from Janelle and Christine's attorneys, to have been funneled into a private trust connected exclusively to Robyn and her children. Fans remember the tension when Christine walked away, the tears, the slammed doors, the confessional where she said she felt used, unloved, and unsupported. But imagine the fire burning inside her now, knowing the court has basically validated what she hinted at for years. Kody stopped being a husband to the family long before he stopped being a husband to her. He was quietly becoming a bank manager for the kingdom he was secretly building with Robyn while the other wives struggled emotionally, financially, and spiritually to stay afloat under the suffocating pressure of a marriage dissolving in plain sight. And Janelle, the pragmatic, quiet strength, spreadsheet-loving, RV-living queen who always tried to keep peace and focus on stability, fought tooth and nail in this financial battle after discovering, according to insider whispers, that shared funds she believed were earmarked for Coyote Pass construction and long-term family security had instead been routed toward luxury living expenses and private investments Robyn allegedly wanted protected for her children's future, a rationale that must sting like salt on an open wound when one remembers how often Kody demanded loyalty, sacrifice, and unity while, allegedly, planning a future that excluded most of his wives and their children entirely. Meanwhile, Mary, once legally married to Kody and the original foundation of this plural dream, stood by for years watching her legal marriage be reassigned to Robyn for the sake of the family, only to now witness the family courts effectively say that what was done financially was not for the sake of the family at all, a revelation that likely hits harder than any catfishing scandal ever could. As for Robyn, who has spent seasons crying about wanting family harmony, insisting she never asked for special treatment and didn't understand why the wives resented her, the ruling paints a storyline she will now struggle to rewrite. One where she wasn't merely a misunderstood fourth wife, but an alleged financial beneficiary of a pattern that drained resources from the very women who built and sustained the Brown brand, while she quietly settled into monogamous-style comfort with the man who once promised equal love to all four households. Fans have long analyzed every tear, every emotional speech, every "woe is me, I didn't ask for this" confession from Robyn, and now those scenes look less like emotional vulnerability and more like strategic performance that masked an empire-diverting partnership, an arrangement where Kody crowned her the eternal wife while letting the rest of the kingdom crumble into dust, resentment, and unpaid land bills. Social media has erupted, with hashtags like #BrownFamilyJustice, #PaybackTheWives, and #RobynNew dominating fandom spaces, and even longtime defenders of the Brown patriarch are struggling to rationalize how a man who preached unity, spiritual commitment, and family loyalty could stand in court and hear a judge declare that he financially exploited his own wives, his own children's mothers, the women who stood by him through moves, emotional breakdowns, late-night arguments, and the chaos of blending 18 children under one faith and one patriarchal roof, only to now find that roof was bought with money they thought was theirs, for homes they thought they would all someday build, but instead became a monument to betrayal standing atop Coyote Pass like a mirage of unity that never existed. And while Kody once proudly declared himself the leader and visionary of his family, the court's decision strips away that self-granted authority and replaces it with a public label that will haunt him for seasons to come. A man who didn't protect his wives, he financially abandoned them. In the aftermath, Christine is reportedly celebrating with her husband David, smiling in victory as she steps deeper into her glow-up era. Janelle is rumored to be discussing new business ventures and legal consultations for property recovery. Mary is posting cryptic quotes about strength, healing, and justice served, and Robyn, once the queen of Brownland, is said to be spiraling behind closed doors as her carefully constructed emotional narrative collapses under the weight of judicial validation for what the other wives have cried about, screamed about, whispered about, and prayed over for years. As viewers await the inevitable on-camera reactions during the next Sister Wives season, one thing is clear: this ruling isn't just a legal blow, it is the symbolic collapse of the family power structure, a karmic thunderbolt, the long-awaited vindication of women who were gaslit, dismissed, emotionally sidelined, and told their pain was the price of plural unity. Now the price has come due, and Kody and Robyn are the ones ordered to pay it, with interest, accountability, and the public humiliation that comes when a patriarch's so-called kingdom crumbles not from outside attack, but from his own choices, his own greed, and his own inability to honor the vows he made to every woman who gave him her youth, her children, her loyalty, her hope, and her financial trust. The Brown era is ending, not in quiet dissolution but in a thunderstorm of legal justice, emotional closure, and the undeniable truth that when you build a family on promises instead of transparency, eventually, the truth collects its debt. And now, as the dust begins to settle from the courtroom shockwave that has reverberated through every corner of the Sister Wives fandom, the aftershocks of this $4.5 million repayment order are only just beginning to ripple through the lives, reputations, and futures of everyone involved. Because no matter how much Robyn clutches her tissues or how many times Kody tries to rebrand himself as a misunderstood patriarch who just wanted to protect his family, the truth stands towering and immovable. The court has spoken, and that judgment did what years of emotional pleading from the other wives could not. It forced accountability on a man who once believed he was untouchable, beyond question, shielded by faith, charisma, and a self-declared calling from God to lead his family and community. But the public isn't fooled anymore, not after watching season upon season of manipulation masked as leadership, control disguised as love, and loyalty demanded but never reciprocated, and now that the financial truth has been dragged into the light. Even former supporters are flipping scripts faster than Kody flipped loyalty coins between households, pointing out how the wives tried for so long to be heard while Kody deflected, minimized, or outright dismissed their concerns, especially when the question turned to money. Always money. and why suddenly so many of the family's resources, decisions, and opportunities seemed to funnel through one household while the others were left piecing together budgets, trying to secure mortgages, and fighting through emotional exhaustion just to survive the shifting power landscape. Fans remember the episodes where Janelle begged for clarity on the Coyote Pass land plan, asked for transparency, requested equity for her investment after years of putting finances first while others focused on romance, and Kody responded with cold frustration, anger, and defensiveness. And now those scenes play like foreshadowing in a tragedy where the hero was never Kody. The heroes were the women who held the family up while the patriarch lived in a fantasy of loyalty that only ever applied to one woman. And what makes this ruling even more poetic yet devastating is how it strips away the delusion Kody clung to that his wives chose to leave him, when in reality, the court's findings suggest they were left financially undermined long before they ever walked away emotionally, turning the narrative on its head and replacing Kody's victim act plateau with a harsh, humiliating spotlight on behavior that looks far less like abandonment by wives and far more like abandonment of them, emotionally, spiritually, and economically. Meanwhile, Robyn's long-running narrative of being the misunderstood favorite wife by accident, the huggable crybaby who insisted she never wanted division in the family, has dissolved into a far more sinister public perception. Not a victim, but an architect, a participant, perhaps even a strategist in a quiet financial takeover disguised as marital devotion and meek obedience. One that resulted in her gaining legal wife status, acquisition control, and now the title that she never wanted to hear but can never escape. The wife who stood beside Kody while the other women suffered, and whether she planned it, supported it, or simply benefited from it, the result is the same. Robyn walks away with the monogamous dream she always quietly craved while the others had to rebuild their lives from emotional ashes and financial betrayal. And the irony isn't lost on anyone that the woman who lectured viewers about sacred commitment and spiritual unity ended up at the center of a real-world legal ruling that paints her marriage less like a spiritual covenant and more like a financial fortress built on diverted resources, one where tears and trembling lips could no longer soften the reality of court-recognized misconduct. Meanwhile, Christine, glowing, empowered, thriving, is now the unofficial queen of karmic justice in the eyes of fans, her wide smile at book tours and social media posts radiating a triumph that could only come from surviving something that sought to break her. She escaped not only with her dignity, but with public validation for the instincts she trusted when no one else believed her. And that victory shines even brighter now that legal authority has confirmed the imbalance she felt for years was more than emotional. It was financial sabotage disguised as polygamous sacrifice. Then there's Janelle, the financial backbone of the family, often quiet, often practical, often the one calculating numbers while others chased romance and spiritual symbolism. And fans know this ruling hits different for her because she fought not only for fairness, but for justice on behalf of the dream she tried to build. The dream that was stolen from her not by fate, but by the man she trusted more than the spreadsheets she relied on. Her pain was visible when she lost her rental home, when she lived in an RV, when she questioned whether she'd ever get her investment back, and now she is not only public proof that she was wronged, but a judicial directive that forces repayment, forcing Kody to face the fact that the woman he dismissed, underestimated, and lectured about loyalty was the one who kept his family financially stable, while he used that stability as leverage to build a future with Robyn only. Mary, too, often sidelined, often humiliated, the original loyal wife who watched herself be sacrificed for the greater good, only to now see that the good wasn't family-wide at all but centered on one couple's gain, is stepping into a new phase of vindication, no longer the blamed party, no longer the desperate hanger-on, but a woman who can now say with confidence that she wasn't discarded because she failed. She was discarded because she wouldn't blindly fund a kingdom that didn't include her. And as Kody and Robyn scramble, emotionally, legally, and reputationally, to explain this ruling away, the world watches with popcorn-ready fascination because this isn't just a financial scandal. This is a dramatic reversal of every narrative they attempted to control over the years, a reversal so sharp it could cut through a decade of gaslighting, misdirection, spiritual manipulation, and tear-soaked justifications. Suddenly, Kody isn't the persecuted patriarch. He's the man held accountable. Robyn isn't the misunderstood spiritual soulmate. She's the wife who benefited from money the others trusted would be shared. And while the legal repayments will be significant, the reputational debt is a mountain, because reality TV history now has a new defining scandal, one that will follow them through every public statement, every future episode, and every attempt at rebranding. Their marriage isn't the love story they tried to sell. It's the financial partnership that cost a family.